We demystify what goes on behind the therapy room door. Join us on this voyage of discovery and co-creative conversations. This is the Therapy Show, Behind Closed Doors podcast.
With Bob Cooke
and Kellie Barratt.
Hello and welcome to the Therapy Show Behind Closed Doors. I'm Kellie Barratt and I'm here with the wonderful Mr. Bob Cooke. Hello, Bob.
Hello. Hello.
And here we are on session number 214. And the title of this podcast is kindness the most important prerequisite for effective psychotherapy or not?
What a wonderful title again.
Yes.
No.
You've chosen well.
I remember I took this title because I think it's a wonderful quality to be able to give to our clients. But, you know, one of the jobs as a parent, or how I saw it myself, was to pass on a legacy to my daughter and also a moral compass.
Mm.
And I was talking to her, she's 26 now, but I remember about 8 or 9 years ago talking to her about important qualities that I'd like to pass on to her.
Mm.
And kindness was probably my first. The list of 7 or 8 I had. And I remember that conversation like yesterday. Now, she has kindness in abundance.
Oh.
She's a support worker, stroke youth worker. And I smiled the other day, I think, when I say the other day, past 3 or 4 months ago, when she was talking to one of the youth about how kindness was so important.
Oh, passing on your legacy.
Yeah. So I think that also has something to do with choosing this title. But kindness fosters empathy. Kindness shows that the therapist really cares. Kindness is an essential ingredient in any co-created therapeutic relationship, I believe. So I went into Google and I put in the title of this, kindness important, whatever it is we've got for therapy. And it came up with saying kindness is one of the most important ingredients, which I know, by the way, for self-esteem, for one's valuing, for a client valuing themselves, and a wonderful model for psychotherapy per se. So for me, kindness is from the moment I want to show, from the moment that the client walks through the door for the first time. So I practiced for a very long time, as a therapist. I couldn't even count how many clinical hours. But from the word dot, from the first client ever, when they came through the door, I offered them a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Now, there's many people who would say that's a dreadful thing to do. Argue against that because they might say that's infantilizing the client, it's not promoting self-agency, etc., etc. Well, that might be true, by the way, and I could talk about that on another podcast. However, I wanted to promote kindness and caringness, and the person in front of me is important. Oh, they may have taken that tea and thought many different other things, or they might have had a cup of tea and we passed time for 5 minutes. Either way, I think it's therapeutic.
So the offering, well, it's a welcome, isn't it? I always say welcome to my clients when they arrive. It's a welcoming activity. And also I think, well, if I'm sitting there with my cup of tea or my glass of water, I would feel a little bit rude them not having one too. But certainly, yeah, when they arrived, you wanted to make them feel welcome.
Which is kind action.
Yes. Yeah. So do you think it is the most important prerequisite for effective psychotherapy?
Well, we could argue it is and it isn't. I mean, we could argue. I remember I do a supervision course, teach people to be supervisors.
Mm.
One of my favourite books is Supervision in the Helping Process by Robin Showhurt and Peter Hawkins, which I
Mm.
always talk to the people about. And also another supervisor of mine called Maria Gilbert wrote a book on being a supervisor. And both these books talked about lists and qualities they'd like their supervisor to have. And
Mm.
both these books recommended that before you get a supervisor, you interview them
Mm.
and you think about what qualities you'd like to have a supervisor. And they had a list of about 10, 12 qualities they want the supervisor to have. And I used to think, well, if my supervisor had all those, they'd be a saint. But on the list, very high up on both lists was kindness.
Mm.
I'd want my supervisor or my therapist to have the quality of kindness in abundance.
Mm. Yes, and I suppose I'm wondering if people think that all therapists are kind, because maybe they're not, but maybe a part of us who want to help other people, presumably there's a part of us that wants, that's the compassionate part, that we want to support other people and help them to change.
Well, kindness certainly is an ingredient of compassion.
Mm.
There's a whole model of therapy called compassionate therapy, of course. So, yes, definitely. But it's an interesting one. Well, I'm not sure if you meant when you said it, and I'm not sure. So I'll ask you: do you mean, and do you think that all therapists are kind then?
No, I don't. But I think that generally we are there's a part of us that is kind, but that doesn't necessarily always get demonstrated in the therapy room, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very important point you've just said.
Mm.
That quite often kindness does not get demonstrated in the therapy room. What gets demonstrated often is whether the therapist is following the books,
Mm.
whether the therapist is having the right techniques, whether the therapist is XXX,
Mm.
rather than kindness being manifested.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I think you're right to delineate the two.
Mm.
That you'd like to think therapists come from a caring place, but it doesn't always get demonstrated in the therapy room
Mm.
because often, and therapists can believe, oh, I have to follow this technique because that's a caring action.
Mm.
And actually, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm.
It may be far away from a caring action,
Mm.
but they're following the book's recommendations.
Mm. Ah, yeah, okay. I was thinking about how subjective kindness could be because
Tell me more.
yeah, so I hear it a lot from clients about if I take care of my own needs, they're not, I'm paraphrasing here. If I take care of my own needs, that is me being selfish. So, they have an idea or that they should be caretaking others, which they will have been taught through the family line. And so the idea of, well, I won't, if I stop caretaking others and take care of myself, then that's selfish of me. And often there's an expectation that, their partner will do it for them. They'll look after their partner's needs and the partner should be looking after their needs. And it all gets a bit messy and the boundaries are all a bit skewed.
I can guarantee you, Kelly, guarantee you this now, that if you confronted that contamination,
Mm.
so any of your clients have said that, something like, oh, I hear what you say, and are you saying then it's not important for you to be kind to yourself?
Mm.
I guarantee if you said that,
Mm.
that would confront the contamination. And they'll
Mm.
probably say, oh, I don't mean that, or I don't mean this, I'm something, but blah, blah, blah. But, if you said that like that, very few clients would say, well, no, it's not, I shouldn't be kind with myself.
True.
It's an interesting one, what you're saying.
It is,
I
yeah.
think what you're saying is true, that they're following a belief system that's come from their childhood of origin. And they believe, oh, it's self-indulgence to start taking care of myself, or whatever it is in that place, probably because their grandfather passed it on to their father, who passed it on to them. If they have a sort of a generational script going, I think the job of the therapist is to break that, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Get through to them. And are you saying that, and this is one of them, are you saying that it's not important to be compassionate and kind to yourself? I've never known a client say, well, it's not important to be compassionate and kind to yourself. It's much better to hate myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't say that.
No, nor I.
So in terms of reality testing, if you reframed it, I think would have a different story.
Yes, and I suppose I am, I'm kind of that might be a load of sessions all in one, and that I've paraphrased there, but it's the idea that, so I was thinking about the please others driver, but it's the idea that actually, treating themselves with kindness, so therefore meeting their needs and taking really good care of themselves is a priority. And quite often clients, their own self-care is not at the top of their priority list. They are often themselves are at the bottom.
And what I intend to teach them is that that's not a kind action.
Yes, yeah.
Now, teach is a strong word. Perhaps I just said it on this podcast, but I want them to reality test and see the importance of finding a friend for themselves.
Yes.
Rather than an enemy.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
And to help them be aware that that comes from their childhood. It's not, it's not, it might not be themselves speaking.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's a good way, it's an interesting way what you're talking about. And I think it's also interesting about what kindness means to some people may not be what it means to other people.
Well, I think it can be people being over generous, or so they kind of are putting everyone else before themselves, as opposed to, I'm gonna here's my boundary, and I'm gonna give this much, and I can't give any more than that, and I'm gonna stop now.
I think kindness isn't all about overindulgence. It's not about. It's more about boundaries, actually. So, for example, if someone's coming from a reconstructed family where one side of the family might say, look, it's 8 o'clock, you've got to go to bed because you've got school in the morning and you'll be grumpy. So it's really important to go to bed at 8 o'clock, whatever it is. The other side of the family says, oh, you can stay up and watch Star Trek till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. Now, you see, I don't think that's a kind action of the second. I think the first one is. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not talking about kindness being where a person is just allowed to do what they want willy-nilly or things like that. If it's self-damaging to themselves, there needs to be boundaries.
Yes, and part of that, I would say, in parenting is for parents to prioritize not all of their needs. I'm not saying above the child, but certainly above the child. Some needs need to be prioritized over the child. It's like, I need this, sleep or whatever, to parent well.
So if I get sick and tired of it, by the way. I do a lot of flying, and they're always saying before the plane even takes off, oh no, it's usually taken off. Make sure that when the oxygen masks come down, you take the oxygen masks first so you can take care of your children. So yes, of course. And in the same conversation, it's important to model kindness.
Yes.
Caring attitudes, empathy. Without kindness, I do think effective psychotherapy won't happen. That's why I put it as the most important prerequisite. We could ask you, we could argue, couldn't we, the expression of love, many other things are as important, but certainly kindness is up there.
Yeah. And I agree. I think it is important, but I do think that it is a subjective idea of what kindness is.
It's usually subjective. Yeah, A is subjective. As you say, it's usually it usually goes back into their history.
Yeah. So well, I suppose my point I'm making clumsily is that the client might not experience us as being kind. Yeah, so when we think we are being, because we're holding a good, healthy boundary and we're modeling of how good self-care, so we're not always available for the client, for example, it's, that the client might not experience that as kindness.
That is true. And also, I really understand where you're coming from. And I think kindness is often a felt attitude rather than verbal. In other
Yes.
words, the client will feel that the person has a sense of warmth and kindness, even if they see or experience the therapist's words as harsh.
Okay. That they'll be able to hold both things.
Because it comes from a loving place, nurturing place, the heart, compassion. I think that's often a felt process by the client.
Yeah. I think I probably term it as like an open heart. But yeah, I think it's probably the same thing actually. So it's like there's a warmth and a willingness from the therapist.
It's an expression of love, which is a kind action.
Yeah, yeah.
You are right. If a person has been brought up on crumbs, they may never even recognize a full meal.
Yes, yeah.
But it's the job of the therapist then, from a kind place, by the way, still thinking in terms of desire action, to help healing in that process.
Yeah.
Because if they never get to a place where they can really see what's a compassionate action or a kind action or a loving action, then they'll be that way with their friends, their social peers in life.
Yes.
And relationships will fold up.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the client that might not recognize it then, so if we're with our kind acts and they don't recognize it and they, so the crumbs analogy, like how that might take quite a while.
Oh, usually a very long while. Not an overnight process.
No.
Not at all. It's a very slow, patient process. If you have a client, and I had, as I say, I do the assessments at the Institute, but I've had many clients with this frame of reference. But I think of this person, and she came in and she said, I want to find a better place in my life. At the moment, I hate myself. And so I said, so you've got a really negative narrative going on? And she said, yes. So I said, your therapy is really then finding a compassionate narrative. And she burst into tears.
Yeah.
And even though she had a part that hates herself, I think she realized that part was damaging and not helping her have the quality of life that she wanted. Now, the therapy is long-term relational work because you need to find out where the negative narrative came from and all that stuff that you know. But also for her to recognize compassion, not just compassion for self, but also when others show compassion.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what you're talking about is really important, and that is when the clients aren't aware of what is kindness from their frame of reference. I still come back to, I agree with that, but I must say, I agree with that. And also on the same field, I think kindness is often a felt thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like heart-to-heart connection. It's in the same ballpark, Kelly, that what you're talking about is when people deny or ignore or don't even see red flags before they go into relationships.
Yes.
It's the same ballpark, isn't it?
Say a bit more about that.
Well, many times people come in and say they've been in toxic relationships.
Yeah.
They repeat the same relationships. However, they know that they stay in relationships far too long and they've just repeated it again. So usually I say to that type of, does that mean then you ignore red flags or don't even see them?
Yeah.
The last person I said that to said, well, that certainly tastes like a red carpet I ignore. In other words, they don't even see the toxicity, or if they see it, they don't allow themselves to see it or act on it. But somewhere deep down, it's become so repetitive, they deny seeing the clues that the same outcome is going to happen if they go down this road.
So you mean the repetitive nature of ignoring the kindness is on the same is in the same ballpark?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the person who ignores the toxicity, ignores the person's cruelty, ignores. It's like a con man. It's like a con man. Nowadays you hear it a lot, especially on the online process. The person comes in. Well, I know another person came in and said they'd lost £20,000 because they felt they'd been groomed on the internet by this person who came from XXX, and they gave them £20,000 because they were in a relationship and loved them. But they've ignored the red flags and the clues which were really always there. If they do it repetitively, they're really repeating the same process over and over again.
And so
they don't see it, just like you said, they don't see it.
But that's the instinct, well, I think of it as instinct. So it's like they're ignoring, or their intuition, that feeling in the belly of, the red flag.
Yeah, intuition.
Yeah. So
that's why I say kindness is a felt thing.
Yeah. So say a bit more about that then, because I'm still not sure I'm fully with you. So when they feel the kindness, do they then defend against it? Because it feels.
If we talk about intuition, in the belly, person who ignores the red flags, and goes repetitively in relationships, always turn out the same way, are ignoring that feeling, like you just said, which is in the belly or whatever it is, intuition. They ignore it. They deny it, or they don't even see it in some ways. Now, I think you're saying that about kindness, because from history, they've been told the opposite. It's not kind to think of yourself. It's not kind to put yourself. That's what you were saying. Same thing. Exactly. That their script, their red flags, gets in the way.
So they don't let the kindness in.
No, don't even see it in the first place, maybe.
Okay.
Same as the guy who was the con man.
Okay. So it's just not getting in at all. So then they keep repeating that same process of not letting any other kindness in.
That's right. But I believe what you have just said is correct. It's that somewhere they have some intuition, some feeling in the belly, but they ignore it.
So they have the feeling that this is okay, that this person is being kind to me, but they ignore that. I see. Okay. I was a bit slow on the uptake there, Bob.
Ignoring things all the way around.
Yes.
They can ignore that it's kind in the first place, or they can actually. I think if you've got 10 people out of this who have been deceived or betrayed or let down, they might all say, it's a modern word, isn't it, red flags, but they might all say, well, I had some intuition.
Every time. Well, all my clients, certainly,
That's what I
mean. I had the red flag, but I ignored it.
Yeah. So the person was kind to me, only a cup of tea every day, but I really ignored the importance and the expression of love and that action, and concentrated on something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So moved the focus to something that wasn't healthy or that was punitive.
Mm. Mm. So
Oh.
if you can get a person to have a different type of script,
Mm.
idle expressing of loving, expressing of empathy, expressing of care as being okay,
Mhm.
they may change their script or the way they see life, if you like.
Yeah. Well, if they are thinking about if we have a thought pattern about other people, we're usually thinking that about ourselves, aren't we? So if we're very critical of others, we're usually very critical of ourselves.
Mm. Wouldn't that be great if they kind of others were usually kind of ourselves? But
Yes.
I think that's right what you said. I think an important part of all this is the modeling of the therapist,
Yeah.
because eventually by osmosis that will get through.
Yes. Yeah. Stability or dependability of the kindness. So it's always there. So it's not like there's a big rush of it and then none. It's always there,
Predictable.
flowing through. Yeah.
Now you get clients who come in and say to me at the assessments, oh, I know there's a lot of therapists. I don't want one of them. I don't want one of those lovey-dovey therapists. I don't want one of those. So you're correct. Where you're going right at the beginning is, it's like sometimes people have been brought up as scripts where they've been preached or taught or whatever way you want to look at it. It's good to be hard, or it's good to be, what's the word? Hard, tough love. So now, Nigel Farage, somebody I don't like at all, by the way, I don't believe in his values and everything that goes with it. Recently, he was on television talking about what his new party Reform would do with regards to criminals. And just like the right-wing Conservative Party of many, many years ago, or even decades, would say, we'd put them in the prison for 55 years and lose the key or whatever it is. Hard love is the best way to treat them. See, and there might be loads of people out there who are parenting from that position. So that's why they might come in and say, I don't want a lovey-dovey therapist, because it's too much to take.
Yes, they're not used to it.
Yeah. They were brought up on crumbs rather than a full meal.
So it'd be good for them to have a lovey-dovey therapist.
Well, ironically, yes. But the timing is crucial in therapy. Only when they can take it.
Yes, absolutely. When they can let them in. Well, Bob, I think our time's up. Do you think we've answered our question?
Well, what we said is really what I was saying. The kindness is very important. This is the most important prerequisite. It's up for argument because expression of love, open heart, many of these other qualities are essential. But I put kindness right at the front anyway.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I would want my therapist to have a kind attitude. I'd want my supervisor to have a kind attitude. But I certainly take what you're saying as true. If the histories of the people have been particularly negative, then kindness might be too hard to take at the particular time they've come into therapy. It doesn't mean, though, that how can I explain? You have to choose a therapist just who doesn't have any kindness or something.
Yes. Well,
it's a difficult one, that, because both therapists do come from a place of wanting to care for their clients. It's how they do it.
Yes. Yeah.
How we started right at the beginning. You said started right at the beginning is you said quite eloquently, therapists tend to care for people. However, it doesn't always manifest in the psychotherapy room. Or it might not do for lots of reasons, countertransference or whatever.
Yeah. If our stuff gets triggered, we're like, it's likely we'll step into the transference. Yeah. It's good to talk to you, Bob.
Good to talk to you.
The next session, so the next podcast is going to be 5 tips for working with couples in the therapy process.
Now, I know this is your specialism.
I don't know.
I thought to myself when I was thinking up this title, we must have one that will suit Kellie down to the earth. I know she's trained as a couples therapy. She specialises in couples therapy. So this is not just being me kind to you. And you have a great specialism in this area. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it.
Well, I better go and think of 5 quick, haven't I?
I'm sure you can have 6, 7, or 8, but I'm looking forward to the podcast on that subject immensely.
Me too, Bob. Me too. Very good to talk to you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.
You've been listening to The Therapy Show, Behind Closed Doors podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'll be back next week with another episode.